Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Today is Wednesday, March 6th, 2019, and you're here at our Team Prosperity meeting. I'm so excited to see the presentation that Mike has put together. We're really fortunate to have him spend so much time on this kind of stuff, and this morning he told me, I've got it handled. So I didn't even put anything together. I'm so excited to see what we've got in store. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and grab him and bring him up. So give me just 1 second.
All right, guys, it is March. First quarter is going to be coming to a close pretty quickly here. The time is going to go by whether we decide to do something or do nothing. Time is going to continue to tick by. This is a great opportunity over the next 36, 48 months with this business, with where we are in the growth cycle, to really put your head down, get some work done, and get what a traditional model would take years and years and years to do in a matter of months. So let's go through some things that will help you build your business. Last week and the previous weeks, we've been talking about certain things. Last week was, CRM, marketing pages, text marketing, these type of things that will help you build your business. Remember, we always talk about if you're building a business on one leg of marketing, it's not going to work. We used the example of Shark Tank last week. When you've got businesses coming into Shark Tank who do solely all their advertising 100% on a platform like Facebook, sharks aren't interested, because if Facebook changes that algorithm and it disrupts the way that those leads are coming in, the whole entire business falls short. So make sure you're developing multiple legs of marketing. Make sure you're testing things. Make sure you're not just blindly throwing money at marketing. If you are going to pay for marketing, make sure you test it. Make sure you understand what your return on investment is and know how to go forward. And if it works, scale that. When you are building your business, guys, you are, as an entrepreneur, a business, but as a manager, upline leader, you're setting an example. So you need to be the person out there that's participating, that's having activity, that's sharing. Help your team by monitoring your team. There's a couple places in the CRM that I'll show you guys that can help you as a manager start to monitor your best people, and also will help you when the notes come in. There's one thing that all of you guys need to do to help us as managers separate your notes coming through. So I'll show you that towards the end. But be an example that leads people to positive outcomes, and monitor your team. This is a virtual environment. It's great because we're not showing up at physical offices, but there's got to be some connection. In a virtual world, if there's no connection, people are going to drift, and then people are going to quit. Your CRM profile, dashboard, notifications, these are all things I'm going to show you at the very end. There's one thing that you and your partners need to set up, and then as a manager, there's dashboard notifications that will allow you to see your best people, what they're doing, and how to best help them. Guys, when it's meetings, if you're either running your own meeting or you're attending meetings, if you're a manager, part of your responsibility as a partner is to make sure that you've got X number of people making either your meetings, the company meetings, team meetings, whatever it is. I've been on a lot of meetings over the last couple of years. You try to take either one or two or a few things out of every meeting, that your tool belt starts to fill up, and you've got all these extra things that you understand about the business, marketing, partners that you're looking for, and it will build up over time. Your confidence will increase, and you actually knowing what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get the results you're looking for will be set in stone after a little while. So once again, if you are running or attending meetings, as a manager, as an upline partner, it's your job and your responsibility to get as many people to these meetings, either live preferably, like we always talk about, this is an odd time for a meeting, or recorded. And remember, guys, there's certain things that we are willing to help you with as you go along, but if you're unwilling to learn anything, this business is going to be a struggle for you. The first thing that you need to do as a partner coming in, or as a manager helping your partners coming in, is some basic command of simple technology. The two that we start with is the screen share and the three-way call. If you're needing my help and I say, no problem, open up a screen share, you can't do it, and you've been here for a little while, that's going to be problematic. This is not hard technology to grasp. Whether on your team, whether it's with us, practice open up a screen share, practice doing the three-way call. This is basic stuff. If you've been in for even a week, you should understand how to do this stuff. Once again, if you don't, take 15 minutes out of one day and get this down. It's going to hold you back from progressing in the company if you constantly don't want to either learn new things, try new things, or really, in the beginning, fail at trying new things. That's really the way that I learn best, and all of you guys are going to learn best, is to try, fail, figure out what happened, go back, correct it until you got it, 100% right. One difference or one correction that we made to the daily activity sheet, you can see in the red box right here, intro text messaging. So if you're participating in the activity sheet, which I highly recommend that you do, if you know what you're doing, know what results that gets, it's easier to identify and correct problems early on, and then it's easier to scale your operation as you go forward. If you're not using intro marketing emails, if you're not using intro text messages, just leave this blank. The reason we included it is the people who are trailblazing, doing some of this stuff on the front end, we want to see what's working, what's not working. If a partner has something working, we want to find out what's going on there. If a partner has something that's not working, we want to figure out what's going on there as well, so we can start to share with the entire group what works, what doesn't work, and how to deploy some of these marketing techniques on some of these different platforms. So once again, if you are doing intro text messaging, let's keep track of that, see what happens over the coming weeks and the next few months, and see if we can master this. Also, don't forget, Q1 is coming to an end. We had the Q1 points multiplier to really help you guys get a head start in 2019. January was, almost 2 for 1. It was 1.8 points. February is 1.35. And March now, this month that we're in, is 1.2. So you're getting over a point for every point that's submitted. So make sure that in this last month of the first quarter of Q19, try to get as much on the books as possible. It will help you, no matter where you are in your business, get to some certain levels quicker. Also, are about, I think, 3/4 of the way done with the 12-week year. We're entering into the last 4 weeks, I believe. Really, what you're doing in the 12-week year is each day you're going to review your weekly plan to confirm and adjust daily actions and mark off what's completed, just making sure you know on a daily basis what's going on with your 12-week year. Guys, I promise you, if you master this business system and you master stuff like accountability to yourself through the activity sheet, and you master a time management system like the 12-week year, you will become a force not in this company, but this industry, and you will build large distribution, large organizations, and have coast-to-coast nationwide financial services going through your distribution channels. And then once a week, we got the WHAM group. You should be once a week participating in the WHAM group. And then once a week, you should be reviewing on your own what's going on. If you are consistently hitting 80% on this on your tactics and it's not leading you to your goals, we need to revisit that. If you're not hitting 80%, then that's the main area of concentration, is to get up to 80% plus so we can see if that's actually leading you to your goals. One of the mistakes I made this 12-week year that I'll correct next period, put too much on there. What you want to concentrate on is just a very small number of tactics that are going to drive you to your goals. Now, these should be the uncomfortable tactics that we all don't want to do every day, because those tactics and those activities are going to get us close to our goals. So once again, narrow down your tactics, not a weekly calendar, a plan of activities, but what it is things that you have to do on a daily basis that are going to lead you actually to your goals. Last week we talked about, we've been doing every week a little something to help you guys in the 12-week year. So last week we talked about memorable ads, slogans from commercials or brands that we remember. There was a lot that was mentioned, a lot of good stuff, but what you'll find is that really it's short, to the point call to actions that resonate either on an emotional standpoint or, it's those things that are quick and to the point. And we always talk about this. In your advertising, you can't be long-winded. You've got to get right to the point. It's got to resonate with your target audience, and the message has to be something that, entices them to take some type of an action, whatever that is. Some of the stuff that I came up with was, as a kid, the fried egg, your brain on drugs, Folgers coffee, the best part of waking up. Even though I was a kid, I had never drank coffee before. Waking up and, outside it's snowing, the coffee's making. These are the type of things that will get you guys thinking about how to become a better marketer. When you look at other marketers, other brands that are doing well, and you can mimic what they do and transfer that to what you do in this industry, will help you out a whole lot. Verizon, can you hear me now? The Mentos Fresh Maker. Remember, Mentos takes the reality and alters that just by the little Mentos that they take. It's a much more brighter, colorful picture when the Mentos is in the picture. And then MasterCard. For everything else, there's MasterCard. So you want to come up with slogans. You want to come up with call to actions that are catchy, that people remember, and you want to create emotion that resonates with your crowd, that entices them, like we said, to take action, whether that's a landing page, whether that's a call, whether that's a message back on a platform. Get better at marketing, because what I see is everybody out there, 95% of the people out there that do marketing, they all do the same stuff, and it's not really working. Separate yourself from the crowd. This week we'll be talking about how to improve or develop as entrepreneurs, what we're currently doing on a daily or weekly basis to improve ourselves, not necessarily in this business and this industry, but just generally as an entrepreneur. What are you doing, and what do you think you can do to get better? If you are not in the WHAM group, the 12-week year will be starting a new period in the next few weeks. You can definitely join that. But in the meantime, start yourself a 30-day challenge. If you've got 30 days and you've got a challenge to yourself to get the most out of that 30 days, I think you'll be pretty surprised what you can come up with. If you don't have any type of time frames where your activity is being measured, it's going to be a struggle, because little to nothing in the CRM leads to little or no activities, whether it be unfinished, daily tasks, calendar. All of a sudden, that calendar is nothing but white space. Doubt starts to creep in. Maybe this isn't the right business for me. Maybe I can't do it. And those things will lead ultimately to people drifting and quitting. I'm always available for you guys. If you guys ask for help, you may not like the answer that you get, but it's definitely going to help you. So as you guys come to me and say, I'm not getting the results I'm looking for, we're going to talk about your activity, and we're going to do some of the most uncomfortable activity on the front end. I promise you, if you follow that, you stay committed to it over a period of time, that pipeline is going to start to build, and that pipeline is going to give you everything you're looking for. Daily activity, unfinished follow-up. If you don't get around to it, you're going to start to paint that calendar blue, and then your doubt that would normally creep in when you don't have things going on is going to be gone. And then you're going to be so busy with this business, and that busyness is a leading indicator of revenue and income they're going to shortly follow. The basketball tournament, we are about 1 month out from the final day, ends on April 7th, right around the time the Final Four ends. This was an updated leaderboard as of, I think, a couple of days ago. We'll update it more as we go along. Once again, direct partner is worth 2 points. If you accept the standard track exchange, it's worth 1 point. Fast track exchange is worth 3 points. And then a client sale is worth 1 point as well. Alana and I can't win. We can keep score and we can come out on top, but if that's the case, second place winner would be an actual winner that takes home the $100 gift card. Also, the CRM, guys, well, the CRM has been out for a number of weeks now. You need to make sure that you're putting the time in to learn the CRM, because remember, this is the brains of our operation. This is going to control teams, clients, partners, distribution. It's going to control everything that you need for this business. Learn it, master it, teach other people how to do the same. One of the tips I'll give you this week, we try to give you guys more and more tips every week about certain parts of the business, is your calendar. You see it blocked off in red up here. It's always going to go to the default month, but if you switch it to the week or the day, what you'll see is your calendar will look a little bit different, but also, just like in the old CRM, in either the week or the day format, you can actually click on the actual task, and it'll actually pull that up in the CRM. So the old CRM on your calendar. You can click on the appointment, and it pulls up that lead file in the CRM. Same thing happens here. The only difference is you've got to move from the month to either the week or the day to enable that. And then don't forget, Virtual Financial University is being finalized. It will be released, and this is a great way for your partners to be able to go in and learn this system from A to Z as much as they need. Watch it, pause it, start it over, take notes. This is going to relieve a lot of you guys from a managerial standpoint of having to do a lot of this. So we get to concentrate now fostering business relationships, training, supporting the daily activity. So everything we're trying to do from a business and a team aspect is to make this easier on you guys to allow the information on how to get through the learning curve, how to build this business to a series that anybody can come and access at any time. Remember, the Prospect Lead Wizard, it's called Prospect Wizard. That's an app. You can download it, I think, right now. I downloaded it a number of weeks ago, but it's not functional yet. So when it is, we'll make the announcement and we'll take it live. What the Prospect Wizard will allow you guys to do is in the CRM to one-click those texts out. So once again, it's available, but it's not functional. So we'll let you know when it is functional. We'll have, a video or a training class, whatever you guys need on how to use that. It's going to make your life a lot easier in terms of follow-up because it's going to become quicker and more streamlined. On the two-way text messaging system that we talked about last week and we talked about over a weekend class, and a video was released on YouTube. For our particular campaigns, they're having a little bit of trouble with the auto reply welcome message because that's usually an opt-in from, that 81023 number or whatever it is. When you're using a two-way text messaging system, on a reply, it's going to cost you another text credit. So what they recommended for campaigns like us is when you're using this, you're going to see the responses come through. Now, stop is an automated reply message that's going to let them know, hey, they've been removed. But if they opt in with your keyword, you're going to see where they typed in their keyword and they opted in. One way you can both save money and it's a pretty effective lead generation system, in my opinion. Adrian, the guy over there, says if you get an opt-in, just go ahead and call the number back. Let them know you received the opt-in, introduce yourself, get them the information, get the email address. So it's a nice way to open up the conversation, bring a little bit more of a human element to that. If they can get around to fixing that auto reply on the keyword, that's available. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. We're testing this out now. We'll let you know how it works. And then Data Lot. We brought this up last week. We're beta testing this. What I found is that you're going to have to, if you're going to use this for incoming calls for clients, you can set up a lot of filters, which is great. But if you earmark, let's say, 2 hours out of the day strictly for this, it's a waste of time because you may not get any calls. So if you're going to use this, the best way to use it is just to have it on for long periods of time and then go in the system as you have other appointments come up and just block off time, 30 minutes or an hour. We'll let you know over the next few weeks how this turns out. But if anybody's looking for live incoming calls, this seems to be one of the best companies out there in terms of reviews. Also, guys, when you're out there, one of the things that you need to understand is the business. So if somebody asks you, how do you make money at Virtual Financial, you need to be able to clearly, concisely have the ability to hold an intellectual conversation that gets the information over to the other side that makes sense to them. We get paid in 4 ways here: personal income, agency income, expansion income, and bonus income. So when you look at some of the wealthy people, they always say have multiple streams of cash flow or revenue or income coming in. This one business opportunity offers you 4 streams of revenue or income. So it's a pretty nice way to get from linear income, like we always talk about, to leveraged income. And once again, if somebody does not understand the difference between linear and leveraged income and why things like building agencies in a multi-trillion-dollar industry with digital disruption is a huge advantage, not the right person, guys. Don't drag people into your company just for the sake of putting a number on the board. You get paid 0 to bring people in. They've got to be the right people. So we're going to talk about some things today that you need to know about. First of all, if you can't read a commission cycle statement, that's a problem, because if you can't read it, how are you ever going to be able to teach other people how to read it? So you need to understand how you get paid, how your paychecks break down, all of the things that go into reading a commission statement. You need to understand how people get paid in the assembly line, how that affects the sales direct. And then you also need to understand, like we just talked about, how to read a statement. This is very important. Like I said, if you don't understand how you get paid, how are you ever going to teach other people how they get paid? And if they have questions about their statement, are you just going to continue to push it off on other people high up in the hierarchy? You can't do that. You've got to learn your business. It's not going to be overnight that you learn all of your business, but if you've been here for a while, you need to understand how to do some of this basic stuff. And then what we're going to talk about is bonuses. Remember, we talked about last week when I was showing you guys my vision board, bonuses are a great way that reinforce that you're doing something right. So when we look at the bonus structure, I'm not going to look at distribution. I'm just going to look at an SVP. An SVP with one base shop hasn't built any distribution legs at all. Well, and these numbers have asterisks beside it because they're not exact. You've got to realize it's a 9% bonus pool, so the more people that qualify, the less amount of money. The less amount of people that qualify, the more money. But this is an average of what Alana and I have seen over the time period. If you are running a base shop as a senior vice president, then you are eligible for a 9% bonus pool every single month. If your base shop, these are not direct, if your base shop had 3 recruits and 25,000 total production, you're probably in store for somewhere around a $1,500 bonus. Now, as a senior vice president running a base shop with the same number of recruits, but 50,000 total production, probably closer to a $3,000 bonus. And just one more clarification on this. After 3, your base shop recruits start to actually count towards production. Every recruit that comes in is another 1,200 points towards that total. So you can see on a monthly basis here, definitely bonus opportunity. And then let's look at the bottom here. So let's say that you're running a base shop, one only, you have produced 0 other senior vice presidents, but your base shop is performing well. You've got some recruiting and you've got some nice production coming in. Let's say that you earn a $3,000 bonus every single month. Well, that $50,000 in total production is also going to qualify you for level 1, not level 2. We're just going with the bottom level quarterly bonus. That would be an $8,000 quarterly bonus on 50,000 base shop net points for 3 consecutive calendars. Or if you had a big month and a couple small months, 200,000 net points aggregate for the calendar quarter. So understand that if you're running a base shop with 0 distribution channels, but you're running that base shop effectively, got a great chance to make a lot of bonus money. Let's see how that looks. The monthly bonus. If you're getting a $3,000 monthly bonus every single month in the year, the total of $36,000 monthly bonus pool money. Now the $8,000 quarterly bonus, which is level 1 of the quarterly bonuses, which you would qualify for under that scenario, 4 quarterly bonuses at $8,000, that's $32,000 in quarterly bonus money. So you're talking about, as a senior vice president, running one base shop with 0 distribution channels, but you're doing your job pretty well, talking about $68,000 in bonus money per year, like we said, as a senior vice president running one base shop. This is good money. This is bonus money. We're not talking about production, overrides. We're not talking about any of that, just strictly bonus money at $68,000 a year. Guys, this is very doable, trillion-dollar industry, billion-dollar platform, a lot of money to go around. We always want to include some product knowledge in every Wednesday team training. This week, I thought it would be effective to show you guys because we talked about a couple of months ago when Transamerica released that statement that says they repriced their super term to now show up in the top 3 as far as cost and hundreds of quote engines for different types of situations. Well, if we look at that and we take a super traditional death benefit only term on a 38-year-old female preferred non-smoker, 30 years would cost $56 and change. Well, what does the living benefits cost for that same person? $60.63. So you're talking about $3, a little less than $4 a month to buy the living benefits. So it's not that much more expensive, and trust me, Add a little bit of additional premium later down the road if we have heart attack, stroke, cancer, disability from an illness or an accident, definitely well worth it. So make sure you understand there is a little bit of a price difference, but it's really not much. And when you talk about value over cost, like we always do, it's definitely a very valuable instrument or vehicle to get people into for protection. All right. One of the things that I did when I started this business that really was a mistake is I only targeted insurance agents because I wanted to go through and just remove the whole necessary step of having to get licensed. So when you look at that and look at the returns that got early on in my business, they weren't very good. Insurance agents are fine, but insurance agents have to have an entrepreneurial mindset for this business to work out. We always talk about production over distribution. This is an opportunity to build an online business in one of the largest industries in the world with a 21st century digital model with a lot of advantages. People either see that instantly or they don't. If they don't see it, it's not your job to convince, explain, rebuttal. It's your job to move on to someone like us that actually understands the opportunity. And that really starts with understanding, who am I looking for? And we talk about this all the time, and I'm going to keep drilling this in your head. If you don't know who you're looking for, you're going to end up with a lot of people that you don't want. It's easier to identify who you're looking for and talk to that person. We actually know who that is. So the background, the identifiers, the goals, the challenges, the demographics, how they spend their time online, and their interests. You should come up with a partner persona based on who you're looking for in your organization, and you should go out and try to find that person. Just like dating, guys, if we set it up an online dating profile, there's going to be certain things that we're looking for, certain things that we're not looking for, and that will generate through their algorithms on the backside a potential mate or a match for you. Same thing in the business world. You've got to find matches that make sense for your organization, your personality, and then where you want to take your business. Also remember, as you're out there talking to people, we got a lot of advantages. We've got exponential game changers, real game changers that comes from social media, size of the market, how many entrepreneurs there are versus insurance business people, the tier system, the circle of success, a world-class marketing system, proprietary enterprise-level CRM. We've got an aggressive follow-up system, tools. We've got a 3D perpetual virtual environment. We've got a business platform in North America that gives you, yes, we've got a digital turnkey operation, but we've also got a platform that can absorb that growth. We've got no physical meetings, offices, or appointments. We don't have all the typical stuff that entrepreneurs hate when starting a business, all the admin, all the things to keep up with, taken care of for you 100%. The lifestyle that goes along with the virtual world, the freedom to do what you want, travel where you want, live the lifestyle that you want, and demand of yourself, hopefully, but also be able to still plug into our environments and build your business wherever you go. It's all about the message and the delivery. That's all marketing is in anything that you do, but especially for this type of opportunity. Who's my partner that I'm looking for? Where do I find them? What's the message that I'm going to deliver? And how am I going to deliver that message that, like I said, quickly, clearly, concisely resonates with that person, gets them to the next step, which is some type of a landing page, call to action, command that you've set up in the communication. So what do you really want? What you want, guess what, is what everybody else wants. So you have to learn, and we've talked about this before, one of the greatest pitchmen in history, Billy Mays. I don't know if you guys remember him, the infomercial guy wore the blue shirt, always yelling, very excitable. Well, he started on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, and you've got to very quickly get people introduced and interested in what you're talking about. So he always led with a question that almost 100% of the people are going to agree or disagree with. Do you hate stains? Well, no one really likes stains. That's a great lead-in question. So what does your audience really want? Well, do they want time freedom? If they don't want it, they either don't understand or they're lying to you. Do they want financial freedom? Of course people want financial freedom. And then do they want the lifestyle freedom? Yes, that's our three-pronged mission statement for our business partners. Time freedom, financial freedom, and lifestyle freedom. If we can get that wrapped up, they experience a quality of life that very few people in this country ever will, because you're willing to go out and do the things to build a business like this that other people aren't willing to do. So learn how to lead a conversation, learn how to lead advertising or marketing with quick, to-the-point things that most everybody will answer affirmative or negatively to. That will help you open more conversations. And don't forget, as you are out there in the open marketplace, does the audience that you're speaking to understand what we're trying to do here? Do they understand digital disruption? If they don't, it's not the right type of person to talk to. There's a lot of changes that afford us a lot of opportunity through the transformations. And when you talk about as big of a change and as big of an industry as we have right now, that should whet the appetite of a lot of entrepreneurs. Distribution, production over distribution, building a book of business over a business, a practice over a business. They have to understand. Do they understand the cash flow quadrant? Do they understand the advantages of building distribution on a virtual level in this industry with this much infrastructure behind them that creates a plug-and-play, predictable, profitable business model? And then finally, the product and service. Yes, our digital assets are great. Marketing, all of these things are great. But if you don't have a product or a service that anybody needs, wants, or desires, doesn't matter how great the model might be, eventually you're going to run into issues. We've got product innovation. There's a product revolution cycle going on right now inside the industry that allows us to offer a lot of things, living benefits, tax-free retirement strategies that people desperately need. And once again, we talked a few weeks ago about framing the conversation. Why are we expanding? We're expanding because we have products and strategies that people need. They don't know exist. We need more people to introduce this to the public. E-apps on a nationwide reach, very easy to write up business, do business in all 50 states. And then the needed advice and education. If you look at the financial literacy of this country, in my opinion, it is the single biggest problem facing our country. And we're here to try to solve that problem for as many people as we possibly can get in front of. Disruption is either going to happen to you or because of you. It's either disrupt or be disrupted. And savvy entrepreneurs, they know how to build distribution. Even if an entrepreneur has already got a thing or multiple things going on, the right ones will see this. Serial entrepreneurs are always in search of opportunity. If they've got part-time hours, they can come in. Let's open up a conversation. Also, guys, there's been so many instances or circumstances or situations lately where we went with one carrier. It didn't work out for a number of reasons. And we went to another carrier and got it approved. Well, in a lot of traditional models, we wouldn't have that opportunity because manufacturing controls distribution. In other words, they create and they produce what they actually sell in the open marketplaces. Most firms do that. We don't. With a broker platform this big, we've got multiple opportunities to get people in different carriers of products that suits them. And then if there's something that comes up from one carrier on underwriting, we've always got other ways we can put them in other products. So it's not a one and done kind of scenario where if they don't get this, we throw our hands up, we can't help them. It's a major advantage. Make sure you understand that. Also, a major advantage when you're out there talking to people, headhunting, recruiting, opening conversations, is that we have positions that are non-sales roles. One of the problems in the traditional model is you have to wear all the hats. You have to do everything. We're not all good at everything. So when you have a scenario like that where you're forced into all these roles, there's a very, very high failure rate. Plus, someone just passing an insurance exam, if you're sending them out to close a big 1035 exchange, it's not happening. So now that business is getting written because they can rely on consultants, senior consultants to come in, close those sales, and for that lead generation they created, they get paid very well. The people that will extract the most value out of the platform, you don't have to do all these roles, but you need to know how to perform all the roles and teach other people how to perform those roles. That's how you're going to build distribution. Also, understand, guys, when that, technology, digital assets, digital models, it's all great. But if you don't have the back-end infrastructure to support that hyper exponential growth, it's going to be just a bomb waiting to explode because at some point, everything's just going to kind of hit the fan, so to speak. And when you don't have the infrastructure on the back end to support it, you don't have a long-term viable business model. So let's say, just as a representation, these are a lot of the IMOs, FMOs out there. Well, this is the IMO that we're plugged into. The World Financial Group Transamerica platform is by far the biggest IMO in the country. It dwarfs the other ones. If we could have made these other blocks smaller, we would. But you need to understand that if you come in here, you build distribution, you build teams coast to coast, nationwide, we've got a platform that can absorb it in an orderly way. I never worry about getting paid from this platform. It's like clockwork. Twice a week, 9 pay cycles a month, we're getting paid. There's a lot of IMOs out there that if they experience a string of large chargebacks, they might have to shut down, or they might not be able to pay you. On a billion-dollar platform backed by one of the largest companies in the world, you don't have to worry about that here. Huge advantage. Make sure you guys understand that as well. And then what's your point of resistance for scalability? Well, in other businesses that I've had, I needed additional infrastructure. I needed additional capital. I had to go out and borrow money for that. That's not an easy way to build a business. Here, the only thing that you've got to do is find talented people, put them in the position, train them, support them, help them, coach them, mentor them, walk with them for a period of time until they can go out and master the system on their own, which is very duplicatable, and go out, and then from that upfront work that you put in, time, energy, resources, investment, you've got a piece of that business for life. Franchise opportunity in a very large industry. And don't forget, guys, as we build this business over the next few years, we are creating a brand, a virtual lifestyle brand. So when you look at all these brands that are very noticeable and you see virtual right there, we're going to fit in perfectly. This is a golden opportunity for us to change the way that these agencies are built, operate, and managed, and attract a lot of talent that normally would have no interest in financial services. So when you look at brands like we talked about earlier and like we talked about in the WHAM group last week, what brands are hitting on all cylinders? What brands are really making things in terms of slogans, commercials that are sticking, that resonate with their core audience? Mimic that. And then don't forget, as you're out there, the one thing that you want to concentrate on in your business, especially in the beginning, is Tier 1. Tier 1 contact is going to create the awareness that you're actually in business, what you're doing. It's going to create some interest from the right people. It's going to allow them to evaluate the business from videos that will allow you guys to have a conversation about a potential decision. If that decision is interest in the business or interest in the client side, it leads to actions. Whether it be Tier 2s, whether it be Tier 3s and 5s for clients, it all starts with a Tier 1. So the Tier 1 contact is the foundation of your business. If you're not having enough Tier 1 contacts, it would be like trying to build a house with just a handful of bricks. You need a lot of bricks to be able to build that house. You need a lot of Tier 1 contacts to be able to open this funnel that creates awareness, interest, decision, and action. And then from that activity, like we talked about, you're going to gain business partners and you're going to gain clients. The more Tier 1 contacts that you have, the more that you're going to gain business partners and clients. The less Tier 1 contacts that you have, the less that you'll have. It's not hard to figure out this formula. Contacts, like we just talked about, are bricks for building what you want. The more you have, bigger building you're going to create. And we talk about this a lot, guys. When I first saw this, I don't know, a year or so ago, it made a lot of sense for me. How can I increase the flow of my pipeline? Well, you need to be able to master this diagram or triangle pyramid, whatever you want to call it. And that consists of building rapport. You need to do that very quickly with people. It's an art form. You'll get better at it as you go along. If you can build rapport, it allows both sides to have an open-ended conversation that starts to build trust and credibility on your side that allows you to get the information that you need, whether it's a goal, some dream they have, or whether it's some type of a problem or a standard of living they're trying to avoid. It's going to be uncovered through the information. And like I said, that will lead to a problem or a goal where you can offer a solution that leads back to the action step, which is take a look at our business, Tier 1 ABC, whatever it might be. If you don't build rapport, they're never going to get to the point where they feel like that you're trustworthy, credible enough to give you information, to uncover a problem or a goal that leads to a solution that ultimately leads to an action step. Can't have action without the solution, problem, information, trust, credibility, rapport. If you can master this, I promise, and I work on this every day, you're going to be an expert, master recruiter, or headhunter, and you're going to find a lot of talented people out there. Also, remember, as you're going out there, we don't want to bring people in on false pretenses. They need to understand what's going on, what's expected of them, what they can expect from us. And so these are just things that you want to keep in mind. If somebody needs to pay their rent and it's towards or their mortgage and it's towards the end of the month, it's a business opportunity. This is not going to be something that, is going to guarantee them X amount of money in 1 week. Sometimes what entrepreneurs need to do is get their immediate cash flow situation taken care of and build this on the side. There's nothing worse than trying to build a business when you're under financial pressure. So those are some things to keep in mind. Do they have the 5 years to get this built out? Do they have the hours per week? Do they understand what we're doing? Do they understand distribution? Do they understand the difference between distribution over production, a higher contract level or more money through building? How serious are they? When we talk about an entrepreneur versus a wantrepreneur, we're looking for the real entrepreneurs. Do they have a positive attitude? Are they coachable? If not, it doesn't matter what type of a great system that we have, they're not going to make it. You can't teach somebody anything if they already think they know everything, and that's important. We don't take everybody. It's got to be a right fit. Once again, this is not a numbers game where we're just bringing in massive amounts of people, throw them against the wall and see what sticks. It's going to make you tired, us tired, and it's going to make your cash flow not grow like you really want it to. And we have the best agency building contract with spreads, overrides, and renewals. Do they understand that structure? You can really, when you start talking to people and they're talking about overrides, they're talking about spreads, that's somebody that's interested in building distribution. If they're talking about products, contract rates, that's a producer. Now, the producer can grow into a distributor if we can crack that mindset. If not, they need to stick to what they're currently doing right now. Guys, don't forget, the answer is always going to be no if you do not ask. Now, in the beginning, I don't want you guys to concentrate on anything but just doing what you need to. But as you get better at your craft, you get more comfortable on the phone, our videos are embedded with information about living benefits and tax-free retirement. That's our strategies. If someone's not interested in the business, try to help them from the client side. If there's tens of millions, for example, obsolete term insurance policies that can be rewritten, what are the odds of someone that you're talking to either having or knowing someone close to them that has one of those? Remember, if somebody has an active in-force term policy, it's about a 1 in 3 chance, statistically speaking, that they fall into the upgrade category. Learn how to flip a conversation. We will flip them as managers in the ABC call, but as you start feeling more comfortable, now if you're not feeling comfortable, don't do this. But as you start feeling more comfortable, learn how to flip them even if the people aren't open to the business opportunity. The answer is always going to be no if you don't ask. Now, many times the answer is going to be no when you don't ask, but the recurring activity and commitment to learning how to do these things, flipping these conversations, will lead into client sales as well. And remember, the Tier 1 ABC, that's the ultimate gateway to your business. But you have to remember, if the Tier 1 ABC calls ends with us having interest in the other side, but them, for one or more variable reasons, needing additional information being sent, it's the inviter or the marketer's role and job to follow up with that potential partner or client. This does not fall on the manager. This is very important, you guys. If we do an ABC call, and then 5 days later I'm asking you how the follow-up went with that call, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you have failed as an inviter or marketer. It's your job to follow up with your leads. If you're not following up, you're leaving business and money on the table. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to leave anything on the table here, especially in the beginning when it's very, very important to get as much income coming in as possible for you. And then remember, do things before the day gets away from you. If you're one of those people that thinks that you're going to plan your day out perfectly, it never works. I'm going to make calls from this time to this time. Make calls whenever you can. The best time to make a call is whenever you have time to do it. Time management is probably in this business and overall one of the biggest problems I see in the business environment, and like I said, in this business as well. When I see people that are struggling, I see two things they struggle with: time management and effective follow-up. Those are the two things that will separate you from the crowd. So let's just discuss very quickly. You're going to be investing. So we take two different things. We're taking virtual financial as a business opportunity, and we're taking a typical 401k. Well, if you are investing in a 401k and you're putting money in a 401k, it would be ludicrous after 90 to 120 days to look up your 401k and be pissed off or upset because you are not having tons and tons of money yet. I mean, that sounds funny, but people look at virtual financial and the business opportunity in the same type of way. You are investing time into this business. Time is one of the most important investments that you can make. This doesn't require a lot of capital. It does require sweat equity and grit. If you're investing time in a virtual financial, just like the 401k, investing money, if you're looking at this business 90 to 120 days in and upset because you don't have nationwide distribution yet, it's as ludicrous as looking at the 401k after a few months and getting upset because you just simply don't have, tons of money built up yet. It's going to take a period of time to get this business built. One of the things that you can do to help yourself, constant, consistent activity and letting that compound over a period of time. Just like money will compound, time and efforts will compound as well. And when you look at that last example that we have, a typical 401k, when you're investing money in that, you're typically invested in stocks. So when you look at stocks, especially if you're talking about things that do not have dividends, that are strictly growth stocks, it's an appreciating asset, which means you have to get two things right. You have to get the direction of the asset as well as the timing correct. That's incredibly hard because when you look at, for example, the stock market, typically the stock market's in correction or worse, bear market, when there's macroeconomic forces in play that are causing that. When do you think people are tapping in their 401ks? When do you think people are starting to sell stocks? When they need money. That's the worst time to sell. So when you look at that and you go to the right-hand side of that, a cash flow asset is something that's going to pay you to hold it. We are trying to build cash flow assets that spin off a lot of passive income that continue to grow. Cash flow asset is by far, not even question, that's the best type of asset that you can build. When you are talking about the growth of your business, if you don't have heavy social media presence, you're going to go through three phases to grow your business. Number one, social media networking prospecting. That's where you start building your audience, learning how these platforms work, just kind of growing yourself as a presence online. Step two, you start to personally brand yourself. You start to put out content marketing. You start to get a little bit more comfortable with the whole process of who your audience is, what your message is, and start going out there and effectively deploying that personal brand. You as an entrepreneur are the brand first of all. Behind you as a brand is our company, Virtual Financial. Never forget you're the brand first. And then the third step is paid advertising to scale your business. If you don't understand how the platforms work and you haven't created a personal brand, throwing money at a platform like Facebook is just going to suck it out on a daily basis and you're not going to get any return. So you have to follow the first and the second step before you get to the third step. This is not an environment where you can just blindly throw money at things and expect any type of a return. Also, have activity every single day. Grow your audience, engage your audience, grow your brand, educate yourself. You're not going to extract massive amounts of value out of these platforms 60, 90, 120 days in. It's just not going to happen. Just like the business, you'll see a lot of growth in later stages. Same thing with social media. As you start to understand what you do, understand how to get better at what you do, and remember, activity is one thing, growing your audience is another thing, but the heart of social media is engagement. Once you get good at this stuff, you're going to extract value out of social media. But just like everything else that we do, you've got to understand if it doesn't, create immediate value and you quit, you're shutting down way too quickly. You got to have a longer-term view on a lot of these things. And you can start by the education process with a lot of the things that we have to offer. In your VFG Pro main menu, your marketing systems right here have great tutorials, videos, tips, tools that you can use to really go out there in your social marketing systems and create things, test things, see what works and what doesn't work. The reason that we start with LinkedIn and the reason that we don't want somebody spreading themselves all over these platforms in the very beginning is because if you do, every platform is different. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to become very frustrated. It's going to take a lot of time out of your day. Start with LinkedIn. Why? Because look at this. Top in lead generation by a long shot is LinkedIn. Now, if you've been on LinkedIn for a number of months and you're still just connecting, sending those upfront connection messages and that's it, there's a lot of value on LinkedIn. This is not just something that you start doing and do the same thing over and over again for, 6 months. You have to get better. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn how to get to different types of people on these platforms with different types of media, different types of messages, and open up conversations effectively. LinkedIn is by far the go-to. And this is an amazing statistic right here, 80%, because if you look at the last, let's say, 24 months of our business, and you look at partners coming in off social media platforms, it's right there around 80% as well coming in off LinkedIn. So start here and then just dive into this platform. Learn as much as you can about it. And remember, when you're on there, you've got your second connections, and you can group those in the search toolbar to segment people that you want to connect with. It's a great way to, find people that you want to get in your audience and send connection requests. But as you build your audience bigger, especially as it starts to get over, let's say, 2,500 plus connections, you can start to group those first connections, just like we look for the second connections, maybe as entrepreneur. We leave that search as an entrepreneur, but now we go to our first connections, which means they're already in our audience. It's a great way to target those people with messages that speak directly to them as an entrepreneur. I just released a new video today in the YouTube channel, as well as posted in the Facebook group on the marketing pages. That's a follow-up to last Wednesday's team meeting that kind of went through some of that information. Learn how to deploy some of these landing pages with quick, to-the-point messages that tries to drive traffic to those lead capture pages to capture that data to fill up that tier 1 pipeline. And remember, as you're starting to connect, go through your connections. When you go to My Network and you open that up and you see all your connections, there's something called Sent Invitations, and you can scroll down the very bottom. If something's more than 30 days old, get rid of it. If somebody hasn't connected back with you in 30 days, either they don't want to connect back with you or they're just not that active on the site. Either way, get rid of it. Clean up your old connections, because if you start to have too many of these, LinkedIn will start to restrict your ability to send out new connections. Also, remember, have an idea of what you want to do every day. Follow your schedule. The communication strategy starts with your website and incorporates an online strategy, social media strategy, and a communication strategy that consists of follow-ups through phone, text, email, social media messages. Accountability. Do it, understand it, use it. Once again, just like the very first slide that we talked about today, be the example for your organization and team. Hire up. Don't prejudge people because of their success. In this company, in the last year or so, I think we've hired a handful of 7-figure earners. So don't just think because somebody's already doing something, already running a successful business, they won't be interested in what we do. Disruption in a $1 trillion industry is a big deal, guys. CRM, brains of our operation, the glue that holds it all together. Learn that backwards and forwards. The virtual financial tracks, keep it simple. If you go into any business right now and you go in and it's your first day of work and you ask them, how do I get the CEO position? How do I make $1 million here? It's going to laugh you out of the building. We have a step-by-step strategy that gives you, detailed accounts of how to get to certain areas that will lead you ultimately to the longer-term goal, which is the distribution and nationwide build-out. Know when to cut loose, not only on the lead generation side with somebody, but if a partner comes through and then through the process of training them, we find out that this person is just not willing to do what we ask, they don't have the right mindset, or something else has come up, know when to cut loose. We're so far ahead of the industry, now is really the time to capitalize. Don't sit around. We talked about last week, patience versus persistence. We're not trying to wait out a clock here. Be persistent, be aggressive, go out and get this thing built. Remember, when people talk about MLMs, pyramid schemes, well, you have to understand their mindset is locked into that W-2 or that corporate structure where they've been their whole entire life. We just talked about, if I go to any business right now and get hired, and on day one, how do I get to the CEO's compensation? They're going to laugh you out of the building. How do I get to the CEO's job? Even in some of this middle management right here, guys, people that are below the middle management, they're just waiting for people to die so the positions open up. So when you talk about pyramid schemes, when you talk about hierarchies, know the advantages of what we have to offer. Somebody's going to come in with sometimes zero experience in financial services, and they get to lean on people like me and you to get agencies built, that's got definite value. If people don't see that value, it's not the right fit. Once again, if they don't understand linear versus leveraged income, distribution or production, just not the right fit. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Well, actually, there kind of is, but we're not going to tell them that. If they want to stick with what they do, left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant as a W-2 employee, that's fine. That's not something that we're looking for. And then really quickly, guys, when we talk about the step-by-step guide, if you look at fast-track qualifications, it's very easy to look at this and give your partners step-by-step process. Phase 1, it's an exchange. Whether it's personal, warm market, upgrade, it doesn't matter. Once you get an exchange done, it's a double contract promotion and reductions in future guidelines. That's going to put you at phase 1, agency manager. Now you have to owe somebody else in this company going forward nothing ever again. It's very nice. It's a one upfront training sale, and then you move on to building. You're going to bring in 3 phase 1 qualifiers and do the exact same thing as you did. The only difference is now you're accepting those phase 1. And then once you've got those done, you're going to go out and build that by 3 more additional phase 1 qualifiers. Now, everything's not going to match up as far as the math for this, guys. You may have 10 people in your organization. 6 of those may have finished a fast track phase 1 exchange over to you. We're just looking at those as a way to build this in a blueprint. So at this point, with your phase 1, 3 accepting, and your build out of 3 more, you've got yourself and you've got 6 phase 1 qualifiers. The only thing you've got to do is help 5 of those 6, not 5 additional, 5 of those 6 qualify for phase 2, just like you did over here. By the time somebody gets to the end of this diagram, under the reductions and guidelines for the fast track, they've got the number of partners and the number of net premium to qualify them for SVP, and then we start working on distribution. Remember, another big advantage of this is it keeps everything from being stale and stagnant. It gets some upfront revenue and income coming in to your organization. Also creates a lot of leverage. You're going to give it away one time, and theoretically, as you build your business directly, you've got an unlimited amount of exchanges coming in. So it's a great way to build revenue and income on the front side, get your partners contract-level promotions, reductions in guidelines, to a mutually beneficial transaction for both sides. There's a fast-track overview on the YouTube channel that goes in under 10 minutes, goes through each step, what happens, the contract level changes, the reductions in guidelines, lays out everything for you there. And then don't forget, it's very, very easy, 1, 3, 3, 5. Phase 1, phase 2 is to grow your team by 3. The other 3 is to grow your team by the additional 3. And 5 is the SVP, taking 5 of those 6 people and helping them qualify for phase 2 just like you did. This is how you build agencies. Even if you went into a traditional model right now and say, well, how do I build my agency? They're going to say, well, you take leads, you call them, you go out and meet them. If somebody's interested in joining you, put them under you. It's just, there's no concrete blueprint to get this done. We've created one. It's very easy to follow. And then finally, guys, as you are going out as a marketer, inviter, consultant, manager, or even a new partner coming in just trying to, learn the process, don't play the blame game. There's 3 ways to fail at everything that you do in your life. Complain about everything, blame others for your problems, and never be grateful. If it's up to be, it's up to me. Own it, guys. It's a big part of what we do. Good or bad, positive or negative, things that work, things that don't work, own it. You did it, whether it's good or bad, take responsibility for it. So that is what we've got for today, guys. I think we did good on the time, right about perfect. So if you guys have anything that you want to talk about here in an open forum, by all means, Alana will open it back up. If not, we're available on individual, training sessions. If you are working this business, we will work with you to help you.
Wow, another phenomenal training by Mike Amer. Thank you so much, Mike. So really great training. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the recording.